All right, so let's talk about a feeling that, let's be honest, we all know a little too well. It's that knot in your stomach when you're facing the unknown. Today, we're going to dig into why our brains absolutely crave certainty and, what we can actually do about it when we just don't have any answers. I mean, really think about it. You're waiting for, I don't know, a test result, a text back, news from that job interview. Why is that in-between time, that wait-and-see moment, so just agonizing? It's weird, right? Sometimes it feels even worse than just getting the bad news. So that's the big question we're going to tackle. Okay, so first up, the agony of waiting. And yeah, that's a pretty good name for it, isn't it? It's that feeling, that pit in your stomach when you're stuck between a question and an answer. It's like your brain is in this limbo state and it just refuses to rest. Let's get into a really common example.
So, you know that feeling waiting for someone to call or text back? The silence itself isn't the real issue, right? It's what our brain does in that silence. It doesn't just sit there patiently. No. It starts spinning up all these stories, these worst-case scenarios. Did I say something weird? Are they mad? Instantly, that empty space gets filled with all sorts of fears.
So what's the deal with that? Why does our brain just automatically go to the worst possible conclusion? Well, it turns out it's not a bug. It's actually a feature. And to really get it, we need to dive into the science of what I like to call the brain's prediction machine. Okay, so here's the core idea. Your brain's main job, like job number one, is to be a prediction machine. Its whole purpose is to constantly guess what's coming next. And it does this for a very, very simple reason, to keep you safe, right? If you can predict a threat, you can hopefully avoid it. But what happens when that prediction machine is missing some key information? When there's a gap in the data, like that unanswered text? Well, the whole system kind of short circuits. It sees that uncertainty not as a neutral thing, but as a potential danger. And that's when your brain's internal alarm system starts blaring. And this isn't just some vague, fuzzy feeling. Now, this overactive alarm makes you do very specific things. You start constantly scanning for problems. You start seeing danger where, honestly, there probably isn't any. And all the while, you've got this constant, low-grade hum of anxiety just running in the background. Sound familiar?
Now, this whole process is a bit of a snowball effect. It's how our brain can take a tiny little worry and turn it into a full-blown crisis. Let's talk about how we go from small clouds to massive storms.
Think about it. Most of our big worries, they don't start out big. They start as these little temporary clouds in our mind. Just a passing thought. It's small, it's manageable, it's not really a threat yet. Something like, I wonder if my boss liked that presentation. But this is where that prediction machine kicks into high gear. It grabs that little cloud of a thought and just inflates it. It starts feeding it with what-ifs. What if they hated it? What if I get a bad review? What if this means I'm going to lose my job? And just like that, bam! That tiny, harmless cloud is now a full-blown catastrophic storm raging in your head. So if this is just how our brains are wired, are we doomed? Are we just stuck with this? Absolutely not. The good news is there are actual practical tools you can use to step in and calm that storm. And one of my favorites, and one of the most effective, is called the 5-5-5 rule. Now, the point of this rule isn't to make the worry magically disappear. That's not realistic. The goal is to get the logical, rational part of your brain back in the driver's seat. It's about taking the microphone away from that screaming alarm system and handing the reins back to your more logical self. It's all about a perspective shift. Okay, so here's how you do it. It's super simple. The next time you feel that anxiety starting to build up, just pause and ask yourself 3 questions. First, will this thing I'm stressing about matter in 5 minutes? And a lot of the time, the answer is probably yes. Okay, then you ask, will this matter in 5 days? Maybe not. The answer gets a little fuzzier, right? And then the big one, will this matter in 5 years? And that's usually the one that does it. That simple bit of mental time travel can take a huge problem and shrink it right back down to a manageable size. So yeah, shifting your perspective is huge. The 5-5-5 rule is great for looking at the future. But there's another really powerful technique that's all about the present moment. And this brings us to the final takeaway. Look, if uncertainty is the thing that's triggering all this, then the antidote has to be finding something that is certain, right here, right now.
So I want you to try this with me, right now. Just for a second, forget about the future, forget about the what-ifs. Can you find one single small thing in this very moment that is totally certain and safe? Seriously,
Maybe it's just the feeling of the chair supporting you, or your feet on the floor, or even just the sound of your own breath going in and out. Anchoring yourself to something that simple, something that's real, can be enough to turn down the volume on that alarm.
And really, that's what this all comes down to. Your brain is just doing its job. It's a prediction machine, trying to keep you safe. But sometimes its predictions go way, way overboard. The trick is just recognizing that. It lets you take a step back, use a tool like the 5-5-5 rule, and remember, a worry is just a prediction. It's not a fact.